Hello, Lucy fans. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is KJ Ricardo. Today's episode is going to be looking at sports-related episodes on I Love Lucy. Now, you're probably thinking there's not a lot of episodes that feature sports, but as I was making this video, I found out that there are more episodes than you probably think. So I'm going to go through this list with you, and I hope you enjoy. So the first sport is poker. Poker is a sport. It's a strategy-based game. But in Be a Pal, Lucy joins Ricky and Fred on their weekly poker night. She's really bad at it. She doesn't understand the game very well. She tries so hard, but she just wants to do something with Ricky. She eventually has to turn to music and dance at the end of the episode to kind of get his attention, but it's a very funny episode. Along with poker, we have gambling. This is seen in Lucy Goes to Monte Carlo. They're in Europe. Lucy isn't supposed to go to the Monte Carlo casino, but she goes anyway. While she's there, she picks up a chip and puts it on a table, but she actually ends up winning so much money. She keeps pushing the money back, and she pushes herself into so much money. It's a very funny episode. The next sport is dancing. Now, dancing is seen on the show so many times, more times than I can count, but I'm going to feature the ballet for this video. Lucy thinks she's a ballet dancer. She's classically trained, but of course she's not. She embarrasses herself, and she eventually has to turn to a burlesque routine to try to get into Ricky's act, and it's a great episode. The next sport is hunting/fishing. This is seen in the camping trip. Lucy goes camping with Ricky. She finds out that he didn't want her to go on the trip, so she tricks him into thinking that she's really good at everything. She actually has Ethel there to help her out, but it's so funny to see Lucy shoot backwards or shoot with her eyes closed. It's a very funny episode. We also have hunting in the fox hunt. We're in England for this episode. There is a woman named Angela Randall. Lucy is jealous of her. She doesn't want Ricky to be alone with her, so she decides to go on the fox hunt too. Even though Lucy's never done anything like that, we know from the beginning that she's not going to be very good at it, but she goes through with it and rides on a horse, but she comes back backwards. We don't know how that happened, but knowing Lucy, it must have been funny. The next sport is boxing. This is seen in Ricky and Fred Are TV Fans, but boxing itself is mentioned so much on the show. They're always talking about the fights. Lucy and Ethel are jealous that Ricky and Fred are watching the TV and not them, so they eventually get thrown into jail. It's a very funny episode with that, but really I want to focus on boxing in the 1950s. Boxing was such a popular sport. Everyone was talking about it. Everyone was watching it. Men really wanted to go to the fights. We had really popular boxers like Sugar Ray Robinson, Rocky, who of course inspired the famous Rocky movies, and then Archie Moore was another well-known boxer. So boxing was so popular, television producers loved sports and boxing, which provided the viewers with an opportunity to observe sporting events live for the first time. They didn't have to go to the event. They could watch it in the comfort of their home, and boxing was the favorite sport to watch. Golfing is the next sport that I'm going to feature. We see this in the golf game. This is a great episode because Lucy and Ethel go golfing with Ricky and Fred. Ricky and Fred invent this whole new game of golfing with these ridiculous postures and all kinds of rules. But while they're there, Lucy and Ethel run into Jimmy DeMere, who is a professional golfer. They eventually get him to be on their side to get back at Ricky and Fred for doing these ridiculous things to them, and it's a very funny episode. Also, in the golf game, we get a brief little scene with basketball, another sport. Lucy and Ethel decide to take up basketball to show Ricky and Fred how it is for them to watch them play golf all the time. The next sport is fishing. We see this in deep sea fishing. They're in Florida. There's this contest going around to see who can catch the biggest fish. Lucy and Ethel end up buying a fish. They keep bringing it back and forth because Ricky and Fred are there. They don't want to see the fish. But Ricky and Fred did the exact same thing. They eventually catch themselves in the act, and they decide to go fishing on the same boat. And it turns into a competition to see who can actually catch the biggest fish, and the girls win. Fishing is also seen in one of the comedy hour episodes, Lucy's Summer Vacation, but it is also mentioned, not actually seen, but it is mentioned in Lucy and the Dummy. Ricky's going to go on a fishing trip instead of performing on TV with Lucy. Along with fishing, we get boating, which is also a sport activity. We get this in Desert Island. They're in Florida again. They go boating on a sailboat. The boat runs out of gas because Lucy and Ethel want Ricky and Fred to miss a beauty contest. But they eventually get stranded on a desert island. And it's a very funny episode, but it's a great episode featuring boating. The next sport is hiking. This is seen in Lucy and the Swiss Alps. Lucy wants to go hiking a Swiss Alp, and it's all fun and games. They're having a great time. They climb to the top of the mountain, but it starts to snow. They get snowed into this little shed cottage thing, and it turns into a sappy episode, but it's very good. The next sport is biking. I love this episode, Lucy's bicycle trip. They decide to go biking back to France from Italy, but Lucy doesn't have her passport, so she can't cross the border. She's left behind, and she tries many ways to cross the border. It becomes a very funny episode. We get the guy who says, "Show me your passport." It's such a funny episode. Also mentioned in Lucy's bicycle trip is swimming. Lucy goes swimming in the Mediterranean Sea. We don't see it, but it's mentioned, and she was very cold. Baseball is the next sport. We get this in Lucy and Bob Hope. This is the first episode of the final season, season 6. Bob Hope and Lucille Ball. What can I say? They're a perfect team. It's a very funny episode featuring Bob Hope. He's so great. This is in his prime, and it all takes place at a baseball game. It's a great sports episode. Horse racing is the next sport. Lucy and the Loving Cup. I love this episode. There's going to be a ceremony with a jockey, and Lucy gets the Loving Cup stuck on her head. She decides to go on a subway down, and then we actually see Johnny Longden, the actual jockey. He is featured in this episode. Horse racing is also featured in one of the comedy hours, one of my favorites. Ever since I was a little kid, Lucy Wins a Racehorse. They have this racehorse. It's inside the house. We get these classic lines like, "What horse? What house?" Everything. It's so funny. And then Lucy actually becomes a jockey during this episode, and it's so great. And here's a colorized photo of that. Bullfighting is the next sport. Lucy Goes to Mexico is another comedy hour. She is bullfighting. We get this photo I really like because it's a behind the scenes photo of them working on the episode, but it's just a great episode. And then we get skiing. This is in Lucy Goes to Sun Valley. There's skiing right now, and this episode features Fernando Lamas. He's quite a hunk, and Ricky is jealous. And it's a great episode too. So those are all the sports episodes. There's so many. There's more than you really think, and that's all I have for you this week. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is the perfect video for summer, in my opinion. Let me know which sport was your favorite. And thanks for watching. And remember to inspire change and check out for a little video right now from me. Hello, Lucy fans. I hope you enjoyed the video that I just uploaded. I hope you had fun watching it. I just wanted to send a quick thank you message to all of you for supporting my channel. I now have 25 subscribers. It's a small community, but I appreciate all of your support so much. If you aren't subscribed to my channel, hit that subscription button at the bottom and hit the little bell button so you'll be notified whenever I make a new video. Thanks again for your support. I appreciate it so much. I hope you guys enjoy watching the videos as much as I love making them. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.